Hey everybody, it's your friend James Shaw. Thanks so much for joining us. We're doing what we do, which is talking to elite people, doing elite things, and we've got an elite person who's a friend too. Leah, thank you so much for being on with us. How are you?
Thanks so much, James. I'm great. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm excited to share with everyone.
I'm happy you're going to share too. We're talking about how you've really built a great community through some entrepreneurship lunches, deepening relationships, meeting great people. Before we get into the ins and outs, will you introduce yourself to everybody?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Leah Joos. I am in Cincinnati, Ohio, licensed in Ohio and Kentucky. I run a small team here. I got my license at the end of 2019, started selling in 2020. It's me, a buyer agent, a director of operations, and a profile transaction coordinator. And really, our entire focus is on deepening relationships with our sphere and circle of influence.
And it's working for you at a great level. And you're a people person, you're a connector, you like to get to know people. So you started these entrepreneur lunches. Tell us what it is. Give me the insight of what it is, and then we'll break down on how to do it.
Yeah, it's actually fairly straightforward. So essentially, I have a background in advising. I also, before I got into real estate, owned a small cafe. So I just am really as tuned and plugged into that entrepreneurial energy. And so I started thinking about how can I offer something a little bit more to the people in my database who are running small businesses. And I realized early on that if I'm struggling or if I'm needing connection, chances are other people out there are needing those same things. So I started hosting monthly lunches with women who own small businesses in Cincinnati, and it's kind of grown from there.
All right, that's great. So it sounds like you're very purposeful about who you're talking to and what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So walk us through how one of these works.
Yeah, it's very straightforward. So I will tell you this, the best tip I can give you early on is figure out who your connectors are. You want the people to be involved that know the other people, right? So when I got started, I identified 2 people in my database who owned small businesses that were really into the entrepreneur community in Cincinnati and knew some great people. So I reached out to them. I told them I had this idea that I thought, female business owners could use support, and they agreed. And so I asked them, who did they know that they thought could get some value out of a monthly lunch where we could connect with other women? And so that very first lunch, I actually only knew 2 people. They brought everybody else in. And so it's really straightforward. Every month I have kind of a topic and a framework that I outline ahead of time for myself. Nobody else is aware of it. And we go into each lunch and we honestly either meet in my office or at my house. And it's really simple. I either do something where we do like vision boards, or we've done from the one thing, the 7 circles exercise, or our most recent lunch, we did a mid-year check-in. How are your goals going? What's working for you? What's not? Should we change the goal? But really my role in these lunches is just to be the facilitator. And it's really kind of crazy when you think about it, but even as real estate agents, we have an opportunity and access to so much information, especially at Keller Williams, where we have resources that are applicable to other industries. So there's plenty of information from DTD2 to the one thing that we can take those little pieces of information and pour into people that can then use that in their business.
It sounds like a great idea. The content is kind of generating itself because you're an entrepreneur, they're an entrepreneur. So what are you experiencing that you all can chat about? I love you have it at your house or the office. Tell me a little bit about why there, and then what are you cooking? Are you guys ordering in? What's happening?
I'm definitely not cooking as much as I love.
You have a really fancy oven.
Yeah, I do have my fancy oven. I'm turning the wrong way. Yeah, so it's very simple. And I think that's the thing to keep in mind. Do it as easy as possible. If I do it at the office, it's a great central location in Cincinnati. We just do it in one of the big conference rooms there. I send out a menu ahead of time, letting people know where we're ordering from. They send me the orders, we pick up the food and bring it, and then they Venmo me. So this is not something where you need to be paying for everything. If I do it at my house, I've done like a charcuterie night at my house, which is really fun. A more informal, just a wine get together. But don't feel like this has to be complicated. Nobody's expecting you to pay for everything. Nobody's expecting you to provide food. Do it at the most basic, simple level possible.
It seems like it's the networking and the learning that
Yes.
really is the benefit from this. And
Yeah.
you've been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
What are some of the ahas you've had in doing it? And you know, tell me about the relationships you've built, because there's got to be a win in here, this for you too.
Yeah. So the win is quite simple and quite easy, right? We are deepening relationships with people. And I view my superpower as being a connector. And so I love getting to know people and to go deep. And, you know, one of the ways I've been trained in my master's program was just getting to know people by helping to understand how they make meaning of their world, how they make meaning of knowledge, and how they make meaning of their relationships with other people. And so that's really kind of the focus for me, is just to go deeper with people. Of course, one of the benefits of that is referrals. There's one person in the group who I've helped her best friend buy and sell. I've helped her brother buy. I've helped her mom buy and sell. That just happens naturally. But I'll tell you, the content is never about real estate. It's just about pouring into people and just helping them with their unique challenges. Because while I don't have the challenge of getting a certain number of plants out of my store, or selling a certain number of candles, or artwork, or things like that, right? We have common struggles. If the economy's down, if I'm feeling it in real estate, you better believe they're feeling it in their little mom and pop shop. So we've definitely had great communication and kind of strategizing, because many of us are also married. We're moms. The struggle's real, and it doesn't have to be just focused on our industry. It's connecting all together.
Well, and we're whole people, so we're talking about all of those things.
Exactly.
Have you found there's a good, you know, is there a right size for number of people to come? Is there a right length of time? Like, what are some of the ins and outs that we should know about?
Yeah, great question. So generally speaking, I schedule these for about an hour and a half. We always go long. I think that's just the nature of connecting. You just don't want to stop. We have great conversations with people. We try to really focus on like the quick updates first, and then getting, like you just said, the whole person involved. James, I'm forgetting your question.
Well, is there a right size? You gave me the format.
Yes.
Format's is 90 minutes, but how many ladies is it? And have you found it can get too big or too small?
Exactly.
What's that look like?
Yep. Sorry. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, of course.
We basically keep it around 10 people, and that's important to me. And it could be bigger, but to me, it's important because I really want to go deep with people. And the more people there are, I think the little bit more challenging it is for everybody to feel like they're really sharing what's happening in their world. But it's come to the place for me where I'm about to start a second group, because this first group has gelled so well, but enough people have heard about it from them talking about it that I have essentially a waiting list. I have people that want to get in on this, but I really want to keep it more intimate. So I'm going to start a second group of these. But I do think it doesn't even need to be 10 people. It could be 4 people. The important thing here is that you are very intentional with who the initial people are, and making sure that they are bringing people that they think would get benefit out of this, because you're trying to widen your network as much as possible.
Well, yeah, you started with the 2 people you knew, and then it expanded from there. Yeah. It also doesn't sound like this isn't a pitch day where they're talking about all the great stuff they do. This is a masterminding about being an entrepreneur and a mom and a wife day, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. It is not about, oh, come to my event, or this is what I have, going on, or I'm bragging or anything like that. It's really not. We are getting to know each other. We are sharing our struggles. We are trying to be solution-based, and honestly just supporting each other. And so one of the things I also love is we have a great group chat now. And when people have struggles or they have a really fun one-off event, they share it in there. And then when I attend these events, we see each other, which is so cool. Like I went from 2 years ago not knowing most of these people to now we're showing up at the same events around Cincinnati, and they're constantly dragging people over to me saying, Leah, you need to meet so-and-so. They run this business. I think they'd be a great addition to our group. And so it has really grown organically, but it's been awesome. I love connecting.
That's really cool.
With people.
What's something you've learned in this process that you want others to know about?
I was really, really worried early on that it needed to be perfect, or I needed to have all of the answers, or just it needed to flow a certain way. And I found out at that very first meeting that is not the case. I try to show up every meeting with pen and paper for everyone. I start with an anchoring question so they can get a little bit of time to write some ideas down on paper. And then truly, I am just the facilitator. Everyone's coming with things on their mind that they want to talk about. And so I don't need to have all of the answers. And it's really easy to defer to other people. Maybe I haven't had that experience, but somebody else in that group has. So you do not need to be the one that has all the knowledge. You just need to be the one that brings everyone together.
It's really smart. Leah, I'm proud of you. Thank you for sharing this with us. And I wish you continued success.
Thank you so much, James. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. How can people find you, get in touch with you if they want?
Yeah, absolutely. You can shoot me a text or give me a call, 513-407-5901, or you can look me up, leahjoosgroup.com.
Leah, you're the best. Be well.
You're so great. Thanks, James.